What happened to the biggest mansion ever built in Canada? Hi everyone, Ken here. Today we are uncovering Chorley Park. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore this house. The story of Chorley Park began at the turn of the 20th century as Ontario's government sought to replace the aging government house on King Street West. The original site, increasingly surrounded by industrial development, no longer suited the dignified image that the province wished to project. A new location was chosen in the tranquil yet then largely undeveloped Rosedale neighborhood, a place far removed from the hustle and bustle of Toronto's growing commercial districts. The project was ambitious from the start. The province held a design competition in 1909, attracting proposals from some of the most prominent architects of the day. Ultimately, the responsibility for the design fell to Francis R. Heeks, Ontario's chief architect. Heeks drew inspiration from the chateaux of the Loire Valley in France, embracing a French Renaissance style that was both grand and elaborate. Chorley Park would be constructed of Credit Valley stone with a red-tiled roof and intricately detailed turrets that gave the mansion a castle-like appearance, making it one of the most striking buildings in Canada at the time. When Chorley Park was completed in 1915, it was an architectural marvel, rivaling even the grandest homes in the USA and Europe. The mansion's construction costs had soared to over $1 million, far exceeding the original budget 4 times over. Yet this seemed a small price to pay for what had become the most opulent residence in Canada. Though it was never properly documented, Chorley Park is estimated to have been in excess of 85,000 square feet, making it the largest ever built in Canadian history. The first resident, Lieutenant Governor Hendry, the Queen's representative, and his family moved in and began a new chapter in the history of Ontario's government. Chorley Park was more than just a home, it was a center for social and political life in the province, hosting massive balls, state dinners, and even royalty upon occasion. Entering the mansion, we passed through French doors to arrive in the Great Hall. We immediately faced the grand staircase, receding below a 3-story arcade, topped off by a massive skylight of stained glass panels. If we were visiting as guests, we would first be shown to the reception room to await our welcome. But we are here to explore, so let's begin wandering through the long corridors to find each public room. Towards the end of the hall, we stumble upon the music room, where a full-time musician sat at the piano surrounded by fluted pilasters and silk wallpaper. Though this was only a teaser of the 3-story ballroom, filled with natural light from a skylight and set within the cove ceiling. Everywhere we look, we find gilded details along the ornate plasterwork, with silk damask wallpapers softly shining under crystal chandeliers. Nearby we find the Winter Garden, labeled as the Palm Room, which was kept warm and humid year-round despite Toronto's chilly winters. The State Dining Room, clad in wood panels with a floor-to-ceiling stone fireplace, is where we can imagine some of Canada's most important political dinners of the time playing out. And despite the grandeur of such spaces, this magnificent structure was designed to be a home. When the family was not entertaining, they would dine in the cozier breakfast room. And for smaller gatherings, in place of the ballroom, they would entertain from the drawing room, though they could also utilize the blue drawing room for quiet conversations away from the echoing marble halls of the first floor. All of this being said, when it was just the family in the mansion, the morning room is where they would gather and relax. Decadence continued into every corner of the house, with each room filled to the brim with antiques, fine furnishings, and extravagant architectural elements. Every aspect of the home was meant to boast opulence in governance, grandeur in public service. However, not everyone was enamored with Chorley Park. Critics pointed to its excessive cost and questioned the necessity of such an extravagant residence for the Lieutenant Governor. These criticisms only grew louder as the Great Depression took hold, turning public sentiment against symbols of government opulence. By the 1930s, the very grandeur that had made Chorley Park a source of pride became its downfall. The economic realities of the Great Depression led to increased scrutiny of government spending, and the lavish expenses associated with maintaining Chorley Park became a focal point for criticism. Mitchell Hepburn, a populist politician campaigning for the premiership of Ontario, seized on this discontent. He promised to cut wasteful government spending, with Chorley Park being one of his primary targets. After winning the election in 1934, Hepburn made good on his promise. In 1937, Chorley Park was closed as the official residence of Ontario's Lieutenant Governor, making it the first province in Canada to do away with its government house. The mansion's contents were auctioned off, and the building itself was repurposed for various uses, including serving as a military hospital during World War II, and later as a temporary home for Hungarian refugees fleeing the 1956 uprising. Despite these temporary reprieves, Chorley Park's fate was sealed. By the late 1950s, the mansion had fallen into disrepair and there was little political will to preserve it as a symbol. In 1960, the city of Toronto purchased the property, and the following year, Chorley Park was demolished to make way for a public park. Today, the park that occupies the site of Chorley Park serves as a quiet, natural retreat for Toronto residents, yet for those who know its history, it also serves as a place of reflection, a reminder of an era when architecture was used to express the ambitions of a province and the fragility of such symbols in the face of changing times. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the matter. Did you have a favorite room or architectural feature? Let me know down below in the comments section. I also want to make a special announcement. After some back and forth, we now have coffee mugs back in our merch shop. This is a great way to support this channel and get a high quality coffee mug at the same time. As always, thank you all for watching and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.